Good evening.
Good evening. It's been a long time since I've been at this podium. But tonight I am here as a former employee, a taxpayer, and a concerned citizen. After I resigned last year, I really felt like I needed to distance myself from all things Southbridge for a while and concentrate on my new position in my new district. Now, however, a year later, I feel that it is my duty as a graduate, a 15-year educator in this district, and a concerned citizen to share my thoughts with you. I'm taking this opportunity because I feel it is important for the people that work hard in this district to be recognized for their valiant efforts in trying to do their jobs amid continuously turbulent conditions. It's time that all levels of administration, parents, committee, and community members recognize that it is the teachers in this district who are your change agents. The teachers are your boots on the ground. The teachers are the people who come to work day in and day out, despite the politics, despite the revolving doors of leadership, despite the madness, and bring their best game. And I want to be completely honest with you, the teachers are tired. I do not exaggerate when I say I've written a mountain of recommendations over the past few months for educators from all grade levels in Southbridge. And I am talking about people who have dedicated their careers and their time and gone above and beyond to continue to provide the best education possible for your children and mine. They are disgusted and disheartened and disappointed with the way things have spiraled into complete madness this past year. And if things don't turn around soon, if something drastic doesn't happen to resolve this and set the district on a positive course, I guarantee that you'll be watching a long line of wonderful people running for the hills. And once again, who will be left behind in the rubble? The ones that matter the most, the kids. I'd also like to share my opinion regarding the structure of Southbridge Middle High School because I feel I am more than qualified to do so. For those of you that are not aware, I was on the school building committee at its inception when we began looking at building designs in Sylvia Tajin's classroom at Cole Ave. Not only was I an active participant, but I was the unofficial FF&E spokesperson. I picked out most of the carpeting and the tile colors and the paint colors, as well as the office furniture and the desks. I only mention these things because I want to make it clear that I know exactly what was intended by the building committee, by the district, by the superintendent, and by the Mass School Building Association when that middle high school was built. It was intended to be two schools in one building, two separate entrances, two separate staffs, two separate philosophies, and most importantly, two separate principals. When Mr. Nimberkow asked me if I would accept the position as principal in the middle high school after Mr. Leach retired, I reluctantly accepted because I had already watched two principals struggle through making things work in that building, and I loved my job at the time as the director of curriculum. But he said he needed someone he could trust that knew both staffs and the parents and the students and that could hit the ground running. And having worked at both buildings, I could do that. I did the very best I could to stretch myself across two nations that year, the middle school and the high school, because that's what it's like, leading two separate nations. During one visit from two members of the school committee, about 3 months into the year, they asked me, if you could change anything about the school, what would it be? And I answered honestly, I would put two principals in this building, and that's when I was there alone. I speak from experience. It is virtually impossible for a leader of any experience or education level to provide equitable support, equitable attention, and equitable leadership to essentially two nations at one time. I tried like heck, and I know Mrs. Earls has worked equally hard at it this year, but someone always loses in this principal equation, and that's the students. My advice in a nutshell, don't punish the people who care the most about kids. Don't punish the people who have dedicated their careers to our students and your children by ignoring their voices. Ask them what they think about leadership. Ask them what they think about building structure. Ask them what they want to see change, and most importantly, ask them what the students need. They will tell you. The boots on the ground will tell you. Ask them and listen to them. In closing, we screwed up here. We screwed up fairly bad. Now it's our responsibility to fix it, starting from the top with a real search for an experienced superintendent that isn't appointed or slid into a position for convenience sake or any other reason. When you start hiring people that are selected by members of a committee that are truly dedicated to turning this district around and doing what's best for kids, and not people who only care about what's best for their bank account or their resume or their Christmas card list, then you will start to see the system begin to heal. No more manipulation, no more alliances, no more plotting and planning, no more bureaucratic bull. It's time to do what's best for kids for once. And I, for one, am going to do my utmost as a resident and a taxpayer to hold the district to that task, doing what is best for kids. Thank you.
Thank you.